You must be wondering what I'm doing on top of this old mattress. I was going to dump it, but rather than dump it, as many of you know, I'm a great one for saving things. I hate waste. So I said, what can I do with this? I suddenly thought that perhaps I can see what's underneath here. And I know that there is all sorts of foam and padding. So if I ask my colleague Steve here to cut it open and let's see what there is underneath and how we can use it for bonsai. Using a mattress for bonsai, how nice is that? Okay, looking promising. This, by the way, is a very expensive mattress, an orthopedic mattress. So underneath that cloth cover, what have we got here? If you come close and look at this lovely foam that there is. This is exactly the sort of thing we use. If you can cut some of this, Steve, can you cut this? It's beautiful insulation. And I can see straight away we can use it for putting around our pots or maybe even on top of some of the trees in the greenhouse. So as you can see, if you've never seen the inside of a mattress, here's your chance. All that lovely foam can be used for insulating the pot. And this is that fabric which is used for lining the koi ponds. So if you're making ponds, this is the sort of liner you put before you put the butyl. Again, you can use this to wrap around the pots. So that's one layer. And I think there's another layer. I think this wraps around the entire mattress. I think we'll have to cut it, but can you see the idea? So we'll get all of that on that side. And we turn this for us, Steve, on the other side. We've already done something. So you can see on this side we have the same thing again. So what a lot of stuff there is underneath. So again we have all this underneath. So you get the idea. There's all this beautiful insulation material, and because it's getting quite cold, this is the ideal thing for wrapping around the pots. So we will cut this and we will show you what the next stage is, how we wrap around the pots. So here we are, this lovely bit of thick fleece. It's literally several layers of fleece, and in very severe weather, at the moment the temperature is like 10 degrees, but when it goes down to like -5, -7 on a cold night, if you come out, just wrap the pot, that'll give it a lot of protection. So that is one use of using the insulation or the padding from an old mattress. So nothing is wasted. And you can use it for all sorts of things. Cut it into smaller pieces to protect small pots. So how good is that? So I hope you found this useful. So I thought I'd finish off that video about salvaging the mattress. This is the lovely stuff we got out of the mattress. Look at it, all that beautiful insulation and the recycled wool fabric. And we've got loads of this to use to wrap around our pots. And tonight we're going to get temperatures of -2. So we're going to use some of it to put around the pots, and I will also show you how we fleece our trees.
Cold air down across the whole of the country. So by the time we get to Wednesday morning, we've got a widespread frost and the first frost of the week in southern parts of the UK.
So just to recap, I showed you the weather forecast on the television, and they said that by Wednesday we could be getting some very severe cold weather. The clear skies tonight means that it's probably going to freeze. So let me recap as to what we do over winter. Some of the trees we know are fairly hardy. Junipers, to begin with, are very hardy. The Japanese black pines, I'm not so sure. The Japanese white pine also, I'm not so sure. But certain trees like our native Scots pines, which this is, they are very, very hardy. So I'm not bothered about those. Maples also, I'm not bothered about them. So junipers, we can't do much, but if you're worried about it, take them indoors, put it in a garage or shed, and that will give adequate protection. But on the nursery, we have several areas where we can protect. We have our greenhouses, and then we have our shade tunnels, and then we've got these shade structures. It's quite amazing that if you stand under this shade structure on a very cold day, you do feel it much warmer when you're under the shade. So this provides quite a lot of protection. So these trees remain here throughout the winter. The only problem is that if you have heavy snow, the weight of the snow can collapse the structure. So I've got to keep an eye on that. Things like crab apples, quince, they are again very hardy trees. Korean hornbeam are hardy. Maples, as I said, are hardy. So the only tender ones are possibly the Trident maple, possibly the Chinese elm, and, as I mentioned earlier, the Japanese five-needle or white pine and the Japanese black pine. So I will show you what we're doing with some of those trees. I will just walk into the structure here, and some of our staff have very kindly taken some of our black pine into our greenhouse. Just to be on the safe side, they are into the greenhouse, and this is where they're being protected. So here you are, the white pines and the Japanese black pines are being protected in here. So that should provide enough winter protection for them. While I'm in this greenhouse, let me show you, we also have these little wooden structures where we put this really thick bubble plastic, and at night we pull the blinds down. So this will give another few degrees of warmth. So if the outside temperature is 0, I think in here we can get possibly 5, 7 or 10. But I try not to let the ficuses go below 9 degrees centigrade because it can be a bit tricky. Looking at the thermometer there, see the outside temperature is 4 and the inside temperature is 13 degrees. 13, which is quite safe. And did you see, during the day, the maximum was 18. So 13 degrees is safe for this, but I need to watch it. If it goes to, if I say the minimum is 4, that is a bit tricky. So we got to watch it. If it gets below 5, I think we'll have to take it into a room where the temperature is much warmer. So this is what we're doing. Simple precautions like this. Now let me show you what we will do with the salvage material that we have. So take for instance this great big Korean hornbeam. I know that they are hardy, but supposing you were a bit afraid that it might get damaged by the hard frost, what I would do, see, now that we've salvaged all this lovely material, I could do this and put it around the pot. Some people are afraid that pots will crack, but if they're good pots made of good high-fired stoneware, fired to over 1300 degrees centigrade, they should withstand the frost. But this is what we propose to do with this stuff here. And then, just to prevent it getting wet, I can, if I wish, cover the whole tree with this plastic sheet. Like so. And then with a bit of string we can tie it on. I won't show you how we tie the string. That's something you can do yourself. So this is adequate protection for the trees. And this is the other stuff. This is that reconstituted wool. Those of you who are in the removal business, you know that they're used for padding in between delicate bits of furniture or crockery or glass. So this is also very useful stuff. I propose to use it around some of the pots. Now, just a word of caution, I will show you certain trees. These trees are in pots which are flared out. Sometimes you will get what we call an incurve pot. Let me show you. I do have an incurve pot somewhere. If you come with me, I will show you one incurve pot. This is what we call an incurve pot. An incurve pot comes inside like this. And as you well know, if you were to fill this with water, and if this was a water pot, when it freezes, the water will expand and the ice will solidify. And when it thaws, it hasn't got anywhere to go. It will burst the pot. Same with the soil. If it freezes solid, this will suffer when it thaws out. So incurve pots should be put away into the greenhouse and protected. Or if you wish, you've got no room indoors, just put the fleece around it to protect it from freezing. But if it were me, I would take this indoors and put it where it will not freeze solid. So this is something else to watch out for. I will show you another incurve pot in case you don't know what an incurve pot is. Now this is a lovely oval pot, but this is also incurve. So that will be a bit dangerous when it freezes and thaws out. So all incurve pots should be put away. So I hope these little tips and snippets that I'm giving you how to protect plants from hard frost will help you grow better bonsai. So hope you've enjoyed this one. So it's 9 o'clock in the morning and it's only the third week in November, and in the south of England we've had the first touch of winter. Temperature last night went down to about -2 degrees, possibly -3. There's frost all over the ground, and you look at the roof of that building, that is covered white. The black roof is covered white with frost. And if I go to the nursery, I will show you our empty benches are covered in frost, hard frost. The only trees we've left out are these Chinese junipers. They are pretty hardy, but if it gets worse, I will put it away. And this is what frost looks like. Isn't it beautiful? And I did as an example covering one of our tender trees. And if you want to really protect your trees, if you have the odd tree, this is what we do. We put plastic bags or fleece, and then this is how we protect the trees. So, happy winter.